Welcome to the Mavens Do It Better podcast. And now, your host, Heather Newman.
Hello, everybody. We're here with the Mavens Do It Better podcast with some experts on what it's like to be a student reporter at Microsoft Ignite. I'm your host, Heather Newman, and I have got three wonderful folks sitting with me, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves and have them tell everybody a little bit about the Student Ambassador Program inside the Diversity and Tech Program at Microsoft Ignite. So, who wants to go first?
Oh, I can go first.
Great.
Okay. My name's Elizabeth Kiernan. I'm a student at Valencia College and I'm studying computer science. Most interested in software development and mobile app development.
Awesome. Welcome. And you're going to hear a little noise because we're in the expo hall, but that's all right. So bring it. Come on.
My name is Sera. I'm a student at the University of Central Florida. I'm a senior majoring in computer science. And I was invited to be a student ambassador for the Diversity and Tech track, and all of the content so far has been so inspiring, and we've just been having an amazing time here so far at Ignite.
Awesome.
Hi, I'm Pia Nelson. I'm also a student at the University of Central Florida. I'm a junior and I'm studying computer engineering and psychology. I want to help make technology that helps people with mental illnesses get through their mental illnesses and potentially eradicate those mental illnesses. So I'm really glad to be here at the Diversity and Tech conference to learn about what other people are doing with technology so I can get a feel of what could be in the future. It's been great so far.
Awesome. Wonderful. Well, first of all, thank you. And thanks for playing. So has anybody ever been to a conference this size before?
No. I think this is easily the biggest conference.
Yeah, okay. Or any festival or anything, maybe? Like a music festival or anything like that?
No, not this big.
Not this big?
No.
Not this
No,
big?
nothing
Yeah,
this big.
all right. Yeah. Coachella, right? No?
Never been there.
No? Okay, all right. I was like, okay, it's kind of Coachella for tech people, but I guess. But yeah. I guess first impressions of just coming into a conference like this.
A little overwhelming,
Yeah.
but really fun so far because you get to be around people who share the same love and passion for technology as you do, so it's nice to hear their ideas and be able to interact with them.
Yeah, absolutely. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, I agree overwhelming because there's so much going on. My first impression, though, was how well organized everything is for how big it is, and everything is just running so smoothly, at least from my side. Everyone else I'm sure is working really hard. But yeah, just being surrounded by technologists and it's a unique experience. Just so many great discussions and ideas going around, and just being around my fellow tech nerds has been really great.
That's awesome. I know, we're all a bunch of nerds. It's fantastic. How about you?
So initially coming into this, I wasn't really sure what to expect, and then the first thing that I got hit with was the scale of just how big this venue actually is.
Right.
So I was lost for a while coming in, trying to find where I was supposed to be. But, I mean, once I found everyone, then it was just, immediately, words, oh my god.
You got acclimated fairly quickly, is that right? Or
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
Everything kind of just fell into place.
Fell into place for you?
It's a very welcoming environment.
Yeah, for sure.
That's cool. So, tell us about your job while you're here. What's your job while you're on site? Anyone want to go ahead?
Jobs are kind of all over the place. We have specific diversity sessions that we have to attend. We've gotten to introduce speakers at their talks, and we'll be getting interviewed and interviewing people.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Sums it up.
And everybody's, I know you're all in the diversity and tech programming. So you've been in the lunches?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, all the lunches. And then pre-day?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, we had the pre-day too.
Yeah.
I was too. I was running in and out. I'm a Microsoft MVP as well. So I was running from MVP to
Right.
diversity and back and forth.
Yeah.
So I didn't get to see everything, but luckily we're recording everything.
Yeah.
So anybody that wants to watch later, So let's talk. I like to talk about like nuggets, right?
Okay.
You know, like I always feel in this realm of diversity and inclusion that, you know, there's at a technology conference, first of all, you're drinking from a fire hose. Even on the diversity and inclusion side, there's so much that you're trying to take in. And to me, I feel that if I was talking to a friend of mine today after the lunch. He came in and I'd met with a bunch of friends this morning and like had some space to like hold space with them, like friends I hadn't seen in a long time, and we got to talk about life and it was kind of like we got really excited and then we cried a little bit. I was like, I haven't seen you forever, you know. I know it was like one of those great, wonderful things about my like 17, 18 years in this community, right? And it's just such a strong community that I have friends that over decades. So you will have friends that you walk away with from this week that you will know in 10 years. Right? Right?
Looking forward to it.
You will.
Yeah, for sure.
Because now we're all welcoming each other in, and we're going to be friends. So I get to watch your careers, you know, which I'm totally excited about. Isn't that amazing, right? So, so it was kind of one of those moments where I was like, okay, you know, holding space for each other, and with the diversity, inclusion, intersectionality, and belonging, I feel like if somebody walks away with a nugget, or they feel happy, or they learn one thing coming out of it, because you're like, oh my God, there's so much. So, do you have a nugget? I mean, you know, I'm going to ask you about what your nugget is, or at least a couple of them, or things that you were like, that was on point. You know, anything come to mind?
So today, we talked a little bit about the imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
So I feel like a lot of people can relate to that, like feeling like you don't belong because everybody around you is like, on the outside, they seem to have their stuff together like so well. So I'm really glad that people are talking about that, because I feel like it's something that a lot of people can relate to, and it's not something that people are like actively like going out of their way to talk about. No one's going around being like, wow, I do not belong in this room. Or maybe they are, and I'm just not hearing it.
Yeah, well, everybody raised their hand in the room almost, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I just told you a story about being a theater major, right? So I didn't realize for a while when I was talking about myself, I would say, well, yeah, I'm just a theater major, right? And I use my learning about empathy, walking in somebody else's shoes every day, right? And if you're a decent actor, it means you can sell stuff and you can market to people, which is kind of what we're doing here, right? We're selling software at the end of the day, right? So, yeah, you know, so like I didn't even realize that was my language about how I felt about my degree, which I'm really proud of, you know? So we all do it, you know? So how about you? What's your nugget?
So one thing that I found was really inspiring today at the session that Donna Sarkar led, she said something really well. She said a lot of things that resonated with me, but one of them was someone asked, you know, how do we build our brand? How do we do that next, like do all the things that we want to do? And because that's one thing for me, I tend to maybe overanalyze or over prepare for things. And she said, just you figure out what you want to do for this year, just 1 year. It doesn't have to be everything you want to do forever for the rest of your life and all the things. Just pick what you want to work on for right now.
Yeah.
And that's so much more manageable, and I think that's just really great advice.
Yep.
You pick a skill, learn it.
Yeah.
Do it. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. And it's about knowing your stuff. You know, like it's on each one of us, I think, to, you know, when you do a presentation, when you're doing, you know, your job, you know, like people are like, oh, I don't know what the imposter syndrome, and it's like, well, you know what? At the end of the day, it's all of our responsibility and choice to really know what we're doing. You know, you all are going to school because you want to know more about computer engineering and computer science, right? And so I feel like that is absolutely true, you know. And you know what? YouTube or LinkedIn Learning, or, you know, you pretty much learn how to do anything on the internet these days, you know what I mean? It's usually about 2 minutes, you know, and maybe you not master it, but you can definitely get there, right?
Yeah.
So I love that, what she said. How about you?
I also enjoyed hearing people talk more about imposter syndrome, because it's not, I feel like, as Pia said, it's something that a lot of people relate to, but it's not something that people want to openly say.
Yes.
And say like, oh, I don't feel like I belong here because this person's done this and this person's done this and what have I done? But really we've seen that everyone feels that way.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's nice to hear a discussion about that.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
So Do you all have a voice in your head?
Yeah.
Is that voice in your head super nice?
Not all the time.
Yeah,
No.
not all the time.
I'm not going to swear on this, but I am from the Midwest. I sometimes have a sailor mouth. But that voice is a... Right?
Yeah.
You know? And I think that the imposter syndrome is deeply connected to that inner voice. And that inner voice is deeply connected to fear and the lizard brain, which has been around for 2 million years, which is that fight or flight, right?
Yeah.
We don't have to run from saber-toothed tigers anymore. But when I sit here and I'm with you, amazing, lovelies, I you know, if I'm, maybe it's that I'm like, gosh, do they think I'm fake? They're like, why does she want to interview me? And what's going on with her? And does she have some wrinkles because she's in her 40s? And blah, blah, blah. I don't know, you know what I mean? But okay. But I'm running a dialogue that is not really actually going on in my head. But the thing is, though, you know, we do those things to ourselves, right?
Yeah.
And it's all based on sort of weird brain chemistry and psychology that is inside of us, right? So I kind of feel like if we can actually talk about these things like you're saying, and we can say, yes, imposter syndrome is real, lizard brain is real, fear is real, that inner voice in everybody's head sucks, you know, then maybe we can start to get past that, right? I don't know. So do you do any sort of diversity stuff in school? I mean, and I don't mean to say stuff that way, but like, is there, you know, is it, do you feel that that's part of your college? Is it just there? Is it, you know, what's going on there for all of you?
I mean, there are like clubs that you can join that are like separated into different categories. Like I'm a member of NSBE, which is the National Society for Black Engineers, so I can connect to like that group of people because I am Black and an engineering major. But there's nothing that I know of that's like specifically for diversity, like in general, to like embrace diversity.
Right.
I mean, I guess specific clubs do like embrace like certain aspects of people,
Sure.
but I don't know of anything that embraces like everyone as a whole, like
All the myriad of
Yeah.
things that we might happen to be, right? Right. Yeah.
Yeah, like they were during the pre-day talking about the employee resource groups and
Yeah.
how, you know, there are usually lots of those, but again, there isn't necessarily maybe. What about if you're in a couple groups or whatever?
Yeah.
What do you do with that? As far as with our school, it's there if you look for it. But we're a huge school.
Yeah,
with a lot
yeah.
of students.
Yeah.
And so it's not necessarily there for everyone, but if you look for it, it's there. I'm president of and co-founder of our ACMW chapter, so we're a Women in Computing chapter. And so we definitely have a very strong diversity focus with that.
Sure.
I volunteer and teach Python to high school students, and a lot of those students are students who wouldn't otherwise have such an opportunity. So
Cool.
I try and give back as much as I can like that. So yeah, it's there if you look for it. And one of my goals is to try and get it, get the knowledge out there more. You get people to know, hey, there are these things. Maybe you should check them out. You know.
Yeah. That's awesome. How about you?
My school is much smaller than UCF.
Okay,
so
okay.
we don't have, nothing comes to mind that focuses really on diversity. There are a few specific clubs that you can join if you do fall into a various category, but there isn't really a lot at my school.
Right. Do you feel like encouraged? Because, you know, it's sort of, I also feel like with your generation, it's kind of in the political climate and the cultural climate we're in right now, we're in an interesting time. I think there's always been a revolution going on. It's just depending on if you're paying attention or not. And I think things are coming up to the forefront with, you know, Black Lives Matter and the Me Too movement and Women's March and lots of things that are going on. So we're seeing, you know, much work of hundreds of years of work standing on the shoulders of giants, you know, and coming up, right, and uncovering histories and all that kind of stuff, and not for women and, you know, color and, you know, religions and all of that stuff, which is lovely. I don't know. How do you feel about diversity, sort of in your classes and sort of with your teachers and all of that stuff? Are you like, I'm encouraged to be here, I'm not encouraged to be here, or, I mean, and I'm not asking you, like, your schools are all awesome and all of that stuff, so don't, you know what I mean, but you know what I mean, like, real talk, right?
I have felt very encouraged in my environment since it's smaller, there are smaller class sizes, and to be honest, I don't think I've had a bad professor. Everyone, even if it's not in the computer science field, everyone's been super encouraging, and it's been really nice. Good. Unfortunately, I don't see very many other girls in my programming classes, but hopefully that'll change soon.
Sure. Yeah. Well, there's always a pioneer. There you go. Yeah. Right on. How about you two? Going to the same school, right?
Yeah. I agree with the fact that you don't see a lot of girls in coding classes, especially. Right now, I really do only know probably 5 girls like that I've met outside of ACMW. ACMW is a community for girls who code. Like, it's really helpful to meet other girls because you don't see them in your classes. They're not there.
Right.
Like, our classes are like few and far apart. Like, in terms of
time and when they are and stuff. Yeah. Sure.
So they are primarily male, very heavily male dominated, and that's kind of intimidating sometimes. But I do feel motivated by that because if there are no girls, then I mean it's because there aren't girls that are seeing that, hey, they can do this. So, I mean, being able to, like, be one of the people that they can possibly look up to one day, like, that's motivating.
Yeah, that's one moment where they say, hey, that person is there.
Yeah.
Maybe I can do that too. Oh, maybe I should consider that. You know, maybe I'm a communications major that really has the desire to be a computer science major, but just didn't do it.
Yeah.
How about, what do you think?
So yes, and then that's part of the reason why we founded ACMW is because you might have a few girls in your class, but maybe you're sitting on the left side of the room and they're sitting on the right side of the room, and we're in these huge lecture halls and you never cross paths, right? Like, I mean, because there are a few in the classes, but you may or may not interact.
Sure.
And so we did that to try and, hey, here's one space, here's where we're meeting this week, and, meet other women and share those experiences. As far as feeling included, and well, I really do for the most part. So I actually didn't start off as a computer science major. I started as a physics major.
Okay.
And at our school, all engineering and STEM majors have to take at least a few coding classes, computer science classes. And so I took my first coding class, and I just fell in love with the problem solving. And actually, my professor at the time was a woman. She was actually a woman of color. And I don't know if that subconsciously was inspiring, seeing a woman or not. But she was also just a great professor. I learned a lot from her. And so I started thinking I wanted to switch, and then I took the next computing class, and then I met another professor who runs the high school program that I volunteer with. He teaches to high school students, and so I met him, and I thought, this is just such a great thing that this person is doing, something that I want to help out with, and I just saw this really great sense of community being built by people at the school, and from there then I just started building community and more. So.
That's super cool. Well, I just realized that I was like, I have to go to a meetup for diversity in tech, so I should probably go do that and wrap this up with you ladies. So first of all, again, thank you so much. Will you say your names again?
I'm Elizabeth Kiernan, Valencia College.
How do we find you on Twitter?
Elizabeth Kiernan. The H in my name was too much.
Elizabeth Kiernan.
So it's my name without the H, and then Kiernan, my last name.
Okay. How about you?
I'm Rachel Sera. It's Rachel Rachael, Sera Sera, and just my name is my handle.
Yeah, right on.
And I'm Pia Nelson, and mine is Pia Nelson 7. PIANELSON 7.
Right on. Okay. Well, so great.
Thank you so
much. So, y'all, that was your Mavens Do It Better Experts podcast here with Heather Newman. Have a lovely day. We did it!
Wow. That was really fun.
The original music on this podcast was created by Jesse Case.